You're listening to MISO, the Mesothelioma Podcast, where support, education, and outreach come together for families facing mesothelioma.
Hi, welcome back to MISO, the Mesothelioma Podcast. My guest today is Irvin. Eric is a client that we dealt with. How long ago was it that we started?
June of 2019.
Yeah, I thought it was just before COVID hit. So Eric, introduce yourself. Tell me what you do, and then we'll get into why you're here for everyone. Eric.
I'm a former police officer. I'm currently a preacher. 33 years, former pastor, just retired from the church. I'm married, 32 years, 4 kids, 12 grandbabies.
So your diagnosis, Eric, was well-differentiated papillary mesothelioma tumors. And this diagnosis is different from malignant mesothelioma. My understanding is that it's a rare, slow-growing, low malignant tumor. It's not as aggressive as malignant mesothelioma, but it is invasive. So, and they do talk about, you have to continue to monitor this. When did all this get started, and how did this all get started? What did you notice, or what happened?
Well, I had pain in the middle of June of 2019, which was a hernia. So I went in for a hernia repair, 2 groins and a stomach hernia. Dr. Williams at that time found white spots across my intestine. Told my wife he didn't know what they were, but he was sending them off to the male clinic in Cleveland. About a month, maybe 2 weeks later, it came back that I had a well-defined papillary mesothelioma.
Yeah.
And, I didn't know what that was, but I was sort of researching.
Yeah. So typically for everyone, it isn't like the same. You do have pain, but the symptoms usually are so aggressive that you end up going for mesothelioma. What typically happens with well-differentiated papillary mesothelioma tumors is that it typically is found when you're going in for something else.
That's right. If I didn't go for that hernia, I would never discovered I was having pain. And I called for the hurting, and I told my doctor, so we went in and checked it out. When he did the hernia repair, that's when he discovered the meso.
Yeah. So what kind of treatment did they recommend for this?
Well, I was searching around. They wanted to do the high pack. Dr. Abraham Levital in Boston. I went in, and he was going to take my stomach out and scrape the tumors off my stomach and put it in the chemo bag. But when he saw it, he said that it was different than he's ever seen before, so he wasn't going to touch it. So he's going to monitor it real closely. So he wanted every 3 months, CAT scan, blood work. Every 6 months, he wanted to, he will monitor very close. So we flew back and forth from Louisville back to Boston to get tested. And for 2 years, he just monitored. He said he was amazed at what he saw. So he said, but usually when they cut on it, if you don't get any help in 9 months, you usually don't. And I was like, oh, wow, that scared me. So I began to look at other alternatives. Look up the study this disease that I had. Because I never knew it. I never worked in asbestos, so I never knew where this came. I was retired police, and I was like, wow, how did this happen to me? So that's where it went.
Well, I think from talking to you in the past, you actually sought after an alternative medication. Am I correct, or therapy? What exactly did you do?
Doing my research on YouTube, I found CHIPSA Hospital, CHIPSA, in Tijuana, Mexico. And I began to listen to Dr. Garson's theory, Dr. Coley, and begin to talk about cancer, and discovered that they've been healing all types of cancer since 1979. So I began to listen to the testimonies of all different patients and that had different types of cancers. And so I took my images and my blood work and I had them shipped over to Tijuana. The aftercare team called me, went over the results with me. And so after they gave us the findings from their perspective, 21 doctors in Tijuana looked at your case every day. And after they gave me the findings, they said you need to come. And so we flew to Tijuana, Mexico, where they did immunotherapy. The acetone, hyperbaric tank. They begin to change the diet, let you eat from the ground again, more greens and fruits in your body, so let your body heal itself. Instead of chemo, thereby immunotherapy also goes straight to the affected cells itself and it boosts your immune system to be able to have the energy to fight off the infection. 21 days. 20th day, it came to me and said that it wasn't there. That was confirmed in Boston the next month when I went back to Abraham Leventhal. He said it wasn't there, it's gone.
Well, that's amazing news. That's definitely amazing news. Now, I don't always recommend going to Mexico to have surgery, but doing your research and finding out that, wherever you decide to go, make sure you do the research and before you make that kind of decision. Sometimes it can be a risk when you do that, but obviously you did your research and have looked at a lot of testimonies on the process or what they're doing there. So you actually, it's, WDPMT instead of saying the whole thing. A lot of times there, as far as compensation, depending on the type of mesothelioma there is, usually if it says benign or because you aren't eligible for compensation, but you were, am I correct? Now, I'm not asking what you received, but you were able to file for compensation with your diagnosis, which, was such a blessing because there are expenses in what you do. Obviously, anytime someone is diagnosed with any sort of disease or cancer, there's an expense. So it was very helpful. And the only reason I wanted to mention that is that I want people to know that if there is a diagnosis that says differentiated papillary tumors, that there is a possibility that you can file for the trust funds and to call and see whether there is anything that's available for an individual.
My understanding.
Go ahead.
My understanding that when we first saw it, it was malignant, and it changed. Malignant. Yeah, and it changed after I came from Mexico. It disappeared. According to Abraham Leventhal, he was impressed by that. And that was he wanted me to fly into Boston to have the high pack because of the condition of the tumor. But when he saw it, he said he was amazed.
Yeah.
But it wasn't food.
Okay. Yeah, and so you're doing great now. You're do you still go back to Boston or did you find someone?
I was going to Boston every year, but I was going back to Mexico also every year to boost my immune system up. Now I'm here in Louisville. There's new tumors that came, but they're benign. I had a replacement. They redid the hernia repair, and they don't know if they damaged or something, but it made new tumors. But new tumors that are there are benign.
Okay. So you talk about. Mm-hmm. So you talk about one of the things that you had to do was your diet. I mean, there were things that you had to change in order to help, you through all of what you're doing. Did they also talk about, exercise? I mean, obviously not heavy exercising, but and I say that only because I find that it's important as part of your therapy, whether it's chemotherapy, surgery, and I know surgery is a pretty tough surgery from what I understand, that some of the important things is to have a good diet and exercise, being able to get up and do something and not, some people don't want to because they're going through so much and it's just not one of the important things in there, to do. So, but you mentioned that there was a diet that they had you do.
It's juicing, fruit and vegetables, you juice. You do exercise. You got to cut out the fried food in your life. Put more of the earth, as they say, into your body.
Yeah. I think even without cancer, you need to be doing that. I think every once in a while we should, consider not eating a lot of fried food. But yes. It's been great talking to you. I know that I've talked to you in the past, but I've never seen, not quite face to face. I have seen some pictures of you and your wife, and you guys are amazing people. I know that you've been blessed. You have a good family and a good support system. And that's one of the other things that I talked to about, was a good support system, people that are there for you when you need them. And I was just talking to someone else who he's passed away, but he survived for 10 years after his the surgery that they were considering with you. And she said that, the support was a really, really helpful thing for them. She didn't have to worry about a lot of things because there was a pretty large support group. You have your church as well, your family, your immediate family and friends that are there for you. Is there anything that comes to mind that you think would be helpful to someone else who's been diagnosed with,
Faith in God helps you to help me to get through, because your mind is not, we're not keep a wrong mind. The devil has a way of playing in your mind. And so having faith leads to something that's stronger and bigger than you are. Knowing that God wants things in order was the thing that we had to lean to, in spite of everything that was thrown our way. That still is, but in spite of, God is still the one that's there for us. So we have to continue holding on to Him. One thing I would mention, tip that I recommend, and I've done ever since I've left, coffee enema. They did 3 times a day coffee enema to detox the liver. They feel like that all your bad medicine and everything, sugar is causing your liver, and when you detox with coffee, it's like a sponge. It takes everything out. So I still today does it twice a day, even when the doctors say, well, there's no proof on it. And I was like, well, I'm the proof. Keep on doing what I do.
Yeah, so you're still here with us. So whatever you're doing, it's working. So you continue to do that. We'd love to keep seeing you for years to come. So I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. And I'd love to do this again another time. I know that you're pretty busy in your church. And I think that's amazing. But I thank you so much for, taking the time to be with me today.
Thank you, Anna. God bless you.
You as well. Thank you. Thank you for listening to MISO, the Mesothelioma Podcast. For more information, resources, and support, visit our sponsors Danziger and Llano at dandel.com.